What is up, my friends? It's Ray back here, and today I want to give you guys a one-year update on the Apple Studio Display. I made a few videos on the Apple Studio Display shortly after it released last year, and I figured I would update you guys as to how it's going after 1 year of heavy use. The Studio Display is my go-to workhorse display for all of the video editing and creative work that I do. I can't even begin to estimate how many hours this display has been on. I took a chance and blindly pre-ordered this thing shortly after it was announced, and it turned out to be one of the biggest game changers for me and the work that I do. There are a lot of things that I love about the Studio Display, but there are also some things that I would change about it. So without further ado, let us get to this 1 year update. The model of the Studio Display that I have here is the VESA mount model with nano texture glass. I have it sitting on a Dell MSA20 monitor arm, and I'm really pleased with the setup that I've got going on. The nano glass option is especially useful because it significantly reduces glares and reflections. I clean the display often by wiping it down with the included polishing cloth, and it's still looking as good as new, even a whole year later. One of my favorite things about the Studio Display though is the convenience that it offers. This is a display that's not only beautifully designed and incredibly well built, but it's also dead simple to use. If you've got a Mac, it's pretty much plug and play. I use the Studio Display with my M1 MacBook Air and M1 MacBook Pro, and it charges them up as I'm working. All it takes is that one Thunderbolt cable. I consider my desk setup to be a docking station for my MacBooks, and the Studio Display has been the perfect companion in bringing that vision to life. Another thing that I really like about this display is the 5K picture quality. This display is razor sharp, the colors are bright and vibrant, and it's just all around perfect for the creative work that I do. While the nano glass does cut down sharpness a little bit, I personally prefer having no glares or reflections from nearby lights. I feel like it helps me focus better. Others might prefer that slight boost in sharpness over the reduction of glares. It's all personal preference. A big benefit that I found to the Studio Display though is that the colors are the same as on my MacBooks right out of the box, so no matter if I start a project at my desk or out and about on the go, I'm going to be seeing the same colors no matter where I am. This is huge for those who do creative work like editing photos and videos. Another thing that I really like about this display are the built-in speakers. Still to this day, I am surprised by how loud these things get and how good they sound. The sound is crisp, clear, and punchy with the bass. They aren't as good as a pair of dedicated stereo desktop speakers, but it sure is impressive what these things are capable of on their own. When you hear them, you probably aren't even going to consider getting a pair of external speakers. Another thing that I like about the Studio Display a lot is that it acts as a USB-C hub. Alongside that one Thunderbolt port, there are 3 additional USB-C ports. I use those for my Insta360 Link webcam, Elgato Wave XLR, which I'm using right now to record audio, and I also use it for an SD card dongle since I'm always transferring footage. These ports are invaluable, not only for connecting accessories, but also for keeping your setup looking neat and tidy. Another convenient thing the Studio Display has going for it is the built-in webcam. The downside to it is that it's just not very good. There's no better way to say it. It is nice to have a built-in camera here, and it did slightly improve since I got the display last year, but I just don't use it. It's useful in a pinch as a last resort, but I ended up covering it up with the Insta360 Link webcam, and I just use that. The quality is significantly better, it's small, doesn't take up a lot of space or block any vents, and I just plug it into a USB-C port on the back. If you plan to get the Studio Display and plan to use the built-in webcam often, I would recommend checking out an external webcam like the Link. It's going to be so much better. Before I got the Studio Display, I actually had the Dell U2720Q 4K display on my desk setup here, and that display quickly turned into one of my favorites. If you watched any of my previous work from home office desk setup videos, you're probably familiar with me speaking very highly of that display. I love that thing. It had amazing 4K image quality, a plethora of ports around back, it powered your laptop over a single USB-C cable, and much more, all for a decent price. In the end though, that display walked so the Studio Display could run. That said, the U2720Q did have some things that I would have liked to have seen on the Studio Display. Simple things actually, notably a power button and a detachable power cable. Even though the Studio Display doesn't necessarily need either of those things, they would have been nice to have. A power button would be nice so you can easily reset the display, fully power it down, and things like that. It would be a lot better than just pulling the plug on it. Another thing that the the U2720Q had that I would like to have seen here is a detachable power cable. It would be so much easier to swap the display out when it comes time to upgrade. It would be easier to manage cables and would also be a lot easier to move this display if you need to. So simple things like that would have been nice to have here on the studio display. To start wrapping this up, I took a chance on the Apple Studio display when it was revealed and released last year, and it turned out to be one of the biggest game changers for me and the work that I do. The 5K picture quality is sharp, crisp, and vibrant, perfect for creative work. The nano glass almost completely eliminates glares and reflections. Those built-in speakers sound incredible. The additional ports around back simplify your setup, and it's just all around great at what it does. If the webcam was as good as it was touted to be, the studio display would be the ultimate all-in-one display, hands down. Still, I think adding something like the Insta360 Link webcam on top of it is going to make this display even better. It perfectly covers the other webcam, it doesn't block the vents on top, it's small and compact enough to blend in nicely with the display, and you're going to get significantly better quality. All in all, the studio display was an incredible investment, and if something were to happen to this thing, I would go out and buy one in a heartbeat. It would hurt, yeah, but like, it would be a really good investment for me and the work that I do. 1 year later, and I am still smitten with this thing. The studio display is really great. So that's about all I got for this video, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did and you liked what you saw, you know the drill. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button because it always helps out the channel. Also, don't forget to follow at Raymond Strazdas on Twitter and Instagram for much more. Until the next one, I will catch you guys later. Peace!